Today on Cryptic Mass Guitar, you guys have asked me to do a personal history story about my new guitar here, the Gibson 1963 Les Paul Custom SG. This is an ultralight Murphy Lab. So I've decided that I do have enough history actually in regards to similar guitars. So I'm going to give you that. Similar to the Les Paul My Dream Guitar video that I did, which a lot of people really liked, which I just thought was a little too long. So right off the bat, this or similar model to this is how I actually learned about the 1961 to 1963 Les Pauls. So I want to start things out here really quickly by saying thank you. I had a little bit of a dilemma when it comes to this guitar here in buying it. I wanted to order this exact guitar here. It was going to be a stock transfer from Calgary to Edmonton, but there's a little chip on this sucker here. And when I went in, I asked about the chip, like myself and the store representative. I said, hey, there's a little chip on there. What's going on with that? Was it banged against something, or does it look like it's going to continue to flake off? And they couldn't really give an accurate description of it. And they just said, yeah, it kind of flaked off on its own. And even the store, the guy on the store was like, So I decided not to order this guitar for the time being. So I actually came back and this is a small YouTube channel and it's never gonna get big. I'm old and I don't do the social media stuff. And I'm old. I play what I want to play and I don't really, try and make content that I think other people would want to watch. But when I came home, I was like, okay, well, there's a black Murphy Lab version of it, and then there's a white VOS, and I could literally drive to those stores and get it. So what I did, I actually put both of those guitars on a poll on the community tab, which I don't even know how that thing really works. I don't know how you guys see that. But I got a lot of responses to it and a lot of different votes to it. So between you guys and my wife, by actually her saying, so you just bought two Les Pauls that are black, Les Paul Customs that are black, and you want to get another black Les Paul Custom? Why don't you get the white one? So I was like, all right, I'm going to get the white one. So then I couldn't decide whether I wanted the VOS version or the Murphy Lab here, so I put another poll out there and ignored it. So that's a story of me buying this particular one. But again, thank you very much to everyone who voted, because I thought that was crazy. There's more than 2 votes. But I also did a video because this is my dream guitar right here. I just bought this, and I did a video actually going over the story of why I've wanted this particular guitar for 30 years. And it's something that a lot of you have been asking me to do these sort of things lately, so that's why you're getting this video. And just like the previous video, this story here involves a little more of my guitar history, but it still involves a catalog. This time, not the 1995 and 96 Epiphone catalog, this time the 1999. So we'll very quickly set aside this particular guitar and this particular model. I'll give you a tiny bit of my guitar history. I will probably never be able to recollect or remember all of the guitars that I've owned, which is very sad. And very apropos as to why I should make these sort of videos. But when it comes to my guitar history, first guitar that I technically got, I borrowed from my cousin on Boxing Day. It was, I can't find a picture of it online, but it was a Yamaha, I think it was a YG, but it was cheaper. And it was a white Strat copy, didn't have a pickguard, and it had the sharpest bridge on it. And to be honest, the reason why I didn't buy it from my cousin was because I was buying strings every week, because it would break. High E strings, holy jeez, it would break them once or twice a week. So for my birthday that year in March, my parents, because it was still thought to them that this is a fad. This is a fad, so it's we don't need to spend a lot of money here on a guitar. So for, I believe, $109 or $129, we went to the Sears bargain basement, and we got a Kingston Strat copy. So it sort of looked like this. So from March to June, that was my guitar. Because by June, that guitar had fallen apart. In pieces. Fallen apart. But in those 3 months, I learned so much, and I played that guitar so much, and my parents realized, you know what, we should actually get him a guitar that he wants and spend a little bit of money on it. So what I got was the Ibanez PR1660, the Pro Series. It was a Rhodes style V, and it was like in an eggshell color. It was really weird. But that was my first guitar that I had that feeling of, it's me and my guitar against the world. I thought I could do absolutely anything and everything with this guitar here. So, the reason I'm telling you this here is when I went from junior high to high school, in junior high, they brought one of the high school bands over, and there were 2 guitar players in that band. And I thought, whoa, cool. I could actually go to school and bring my guitar. That would be not inconvenient at all. Because I was going to take band in high school, there were 2 other courses that I could take, music history and composition, and some other course, I can't remember. But I really liked the music history and composition. So, I showed up day 1 in high school with band and 2 courses already lined up. And I showed up with a pointy guitar. And I was told, oh, because he knew I was coming with a guitar, we only have flute music. They had a bass. They had music for a bass guitar, but not for guitar. Here's flute music. I couldn't read music, but I could play anything that they played. Like, I would figure it out, not a problem. But I got that. We have flute music. And eventually because I'd stick out of band for a little bit. Great teacher. And I think like a month later, I was told, yeah, you can't be in band with that guitar. So, my infinite wisdom, I didn't take that as, uh-oh, I'm going to lose 2 courses, one that I really like, and it's going to screw up my first year of high school. I was like, you mean I can try and get my mom to buy me another guitar? So my first thought, because I had limited information on, like, guitars that weren't Strat shapes, because I didn't want a Strat, and I thought, I'm going to get a thin line Telecaster. So I told my mom about this, and we found out how much a thin line Telecaster was, and I did not get a thin line Telecaster. So I screwed up my first year of high school. Great teacher. The fact that my music store was down the street and I was there more than in class, that's really why I screwed up my first year of high school. But I had that thought later on, hey, I probably should try and get back into the school band and try and get back to that music history and composition course, because I really, really enjoyed it. But I wasn't allowed in it if I wasn't in the school band. I wasn't allowed in either of those music courses, which makes no sense. Enter the Epiphone 1999 catalog. So again, the music store that I went to, Music Stop, there was an absolute asshole behind the counter. There was also an older gentleman named Brian who was fantastic. We never got Brian, we got the asshole. This guy would not give anyone that was under 20 years old a free Gibson catalog. It was Epiphone and Epiphone only. You're not allowed to look at the Gibsons. So, again, I went in and I asked for the Gibson catalog, and I got the Epiphone catalog because you're just a little idiot. So this is the catalog that I got. There's a lady on it. That was, I think, because of the Guitar World price books. Epiphone was just like, just put a lady on the cover, it'll sell itself. Very quickly, I want to talk about that catalog because there was a few things that kind of shaped my history when it comes to this catalog. So first and foremost, we'll look at this page here, and we'll take a look at the first guitar on the page, the Epiphone Flame Cat. I wanted to buy this guitar because I wanted to be Brian Setzer. Brian Setzer was really big back then, and I was like, man, if I bought that, I would be Brian Setzer. And I learned In the Mood, and I was like, I'm going to play In the Mood on this guitar, and the Stray Cat Strut. Those are like the two songs that I could play. I never got one. The next page you want to look at is the Epiphone Noel Gallagher Supernova, which I thought for sure I would buy this. Here's me playing it in a store, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this guitar. It was too expensive for me. I still didn't have a job. Another page here, I was still drooling over what I thought was the Black Beauty, the Les Paul Custom. Then we go to this page here, and I got really confused when I saw that this was called the Black Beauty, and it had 3 pickups, not the 2 pickup version. This page was also very important to me too, because I was still obsessed with Explorers and Flying V's, because I wanted to be James Hetfield or Kirk Hammett. Sometimes I still do. Sometimes I feel like I am Kirk Hammett, but I'm not even close. But it was important here because the Explorers look like this and not this. But it was very weird to me when it came to the Flying V's because they looked like this and not this. This was a lot better to me. I eventually did buy this guitar here. Here's me flying with it. And here's me just, I don't know, holding it. The next page that we're going to look at here was extremely important to me. So, first and foremost, we'll look right here and you'll see that there's a double neck. You also note that I bought that double neck eventually. Here's a picture of it in its case. Here's a picture of it with my Paul Reed Smith Santana SE, which, yes, I did order the moment that they actually announced it, and I treated it like it was an actual full-on Paul Reed Smith. But I never actually got any pictures of me playing my double neck. Here's a picture of who became my wife with it, and same thing with the Paul Reed Smith Santana SE. I like those SE lines. Here's a really goofy picture of me with 3 of them. But if you look beneath that double neck, this was one of those things where when I was reading it in the store, I said this out loud to my friend who was with me. Why does it say Les Paul on this? Right? And you're looking at it, it said Les Paul here. And it said Les Paul up here. I was like, why does the SG say Les Paul on it? I knew it was an SG, which is very weird because the Epiphones just called them Gs. But I just remember just being stopped dead in my tracks going like, does this mean like this is the cheaper Les Paul or something? So that was my thought on that. But again, my music store growing up had this little sandwich shop cafe thing in the corner, which was right next to the more affordable guitars. And I got a lean over, just like I did with the Les Paul Custom, and I got that right there, that was the Les Paul in the 60s. I was like, really? Yeah, until Les Paul said, take my name off that thing. I hate those guitars, take my name off it, they're ugly. There was then a retort from another older gentleman who said his contract ran out, so from like part of the 60s, the SGs were Les Pauls and he didn't have a contract with Gibson anymore. It's not that big of a deal. And then I vividly remember that Brian guy was behind the counter instead of, Captain Asshole. And I asked him, I said, why does this say Les Paul on it? And because that's not a Les Paul. Why does it say Les Paul? And his response was, they actually changed the Les Paul because they weren't selling. and the SG was actually just called the Les Paul. It was like that for a couple of years, and then Les Paul I think he was getting a divorce, and then he didn't renew his contract, so his ex-wife couldn't get that money, and then they brought back the Les Pauls. I can't remember to this day if there was a fourth story, but I remember just information overload, and I still had that stuck in my mind. That means that these are cheaper, right? Because that particular model, the G400 Custom versus the Les Paul Custom, there was a price difference. So I always thought in my mind, the SG Les Paul Custom is cheaper than the Les Paul Custom. So I'm eventually going to buy one of those. So, just like in A Christmas Story, where that kid had in his mind, I'm going to put little hints out and have it so my mom will definitely want to buy me the cheaper Les Paul Custom. And she'll just ignore any pricing because it was more expensive than what she was willing to pay. And rightfully so, because, just go get a job, Ryan, and buy your own guitar. Which I eventually did, because when I got a job, this was the guitar that I bought, because I had forgotten about the cheaper Les Paul Custom. But I had formulated in my mind a plan on getting this particular guitar, and then going back and going to the band teacher, "You gonna let me in now, bitch?" And he would go, "Oh man, yeah, there's no flute music, here's the guitar music. Just throw the guitar music out and just get in there and start playing solos." So that plan was dashed because my mom was still like, "Did you have a guitar that you love? Why do you need another guitar just to go into band where they're only going to give you flute music?" And no, which was, to be honest, her right. Because I loved that Flying V guitar. But I still kept it in my mind. The SG Les Paul Custom is more affordable than the Les Paul Custom. To which, if you fast forward to today, it's more affordable than the 1957 by that much. But the VOS version of this is the same price as the Murphy Lab 1968 Les Paul Custom, which is like $1,000 or $2,000 more than the generic modern version of the Les Paul Custom, the one with the Grovers. So yeah, so fast forward to today, or within the last year, so April of 2024, and I relented and started trying the Gibson Custom reissues. So we'll put this sucker down. Those guitars were insanely good, and I had it was in the 30s. I had 33 Gibsons that I owned in, not over time, all at once. So this time last year, because it was April 12th when I bought my 1958, at that point, I had 33 Gibsons at home. That was insane. Strings, I had 57 guitars at that point, and strings just cost me a lot of money because I change them at least 2 times a year. But I started downsizing on my guitars. I knew in my mind, the moment I touched that 1958, and the other guy on the channel, Kevin, he bought a 1959, which prompted me to try the 1958. And he was just like, "Oh, the moment you touch this thing, you're going to downsize. You're going to get rid of all your other guitars and just get custom shops." So that's kind of what I started doing. So one of the guitars that I wanted was the 1961 Les Paul Standard. So I wanted one of those guitars that was part of that wacky history of this is what they changed the Les Paul to. We had thinner necks, thinner bodies. sort of like Fender guitars. Right? Right? Anyway, I wanted to get this, so I got this. But at the same time, I had the SG Standard 61, just the regular USA version that had the Maestro, and I loved that guitar. I thought that was way better than the SG Standard 61 because the added weight, and I actually used the Maestro Vibrola. I really like it. So I got this, the 1964 SG Standard with Maestro Vibrola. So this is the first year, well, I mean, partway through 63 is when they started calling these just SGs and no Les Paul attached to it. So I was like, hey, cool. 1964 SG Standard with Maestro Vibrola. And this, oh man, is super comfortable, super fantastic. It's got that 64, which realistically is the 59, medium C neck on it, and this is like the most comfortable SG neck. It's awesome. So some people close to me kind of question, why are you buying all of these other guitars and not the guitar that you're always talking about, the 1957 Les Paul Custom? And I kept telling them, because the guitar that I want, so if I just got the regular one, this was after I got the 1960 Murphy Lab and just fell in love with Murphy Labs. I kept saying, if I wanted to get the regular one, the VOS, again, I don't like the one with the Grovers on it. I like the historical specs. I like this particular neck on it and everything. But I wanted to get my actual Les Paul. That was $9,300 Canadian. If I wanted the Murphy Lab, which is the one that I did want, it was $10,600. So I kind of went through some different custom shop guitars leading up to it, and like I was so scared to buy this guitar because it was everything that I wanted in a guitar, and I didn't want to bring it home and go like, uh-oh, the all mahogany body doesn't work for me. It does. But I was worried on that. So I wanted to get all these different guitars leading up to it. So, you know what I mean, all the different years. So I, had a wide array of choices just in case that one didn't work out for me. So in February of 2025, I ordered a 1963 SG Special. I really love P90s, and I wanted to get a wraparound, like a special. I like the non-compensated a little more than the lightning bar, but this is just kind of the traditional thing. But when I got this, I was always curious why they called this the 1963 SG Special instead of calling it the 1963 Les Paul Special. Because, again, 1963, they were still calling them Les Pauls. Well, during part of it. And then, yes, I had some health issues, which I was dealing with. I'm still dealing with them now. I'm not a sympathy guy. I'm not someone who goes like, oh, I'm going to say this, and people are going to be like, how are you feeling? Because I find that awkward. It's very kind of you when you ask. Just to give you an update, like I have lost a whole bunch of muscle mass, which I never thought I was like big or anything like that, but oh man, I can't wait till I'm strong enough to actually work out again and start getting back into shape. Because my shape right now would be kind of roundy. But I think I'm like a week away from that. So like don't worry about me. And for anyone else that is having health issues, I wish you the best of health. And I can guarantee you it was a lot more severe than what was going on with me. But because of that, and the fact that I got all of the videos that I wanted to do, like all the different comparisons, I was actually able to get rid of all of the other guitars that I didn't want to just have hanging on the wall. That's not me. I don't like, walking down the stairs, or I had all of my guitars coming down the stairs and going like, I don't play you. So because of that little health scare, it kind of kicked me into gear to getting the guitars that I really, really wanted. So I ended up trading in and got the 1957. And I traded in and got, which I still don't have yet, it's on order, a 1968 Les Paul Custom Murphy Lab Ultralight. And I still had credit, and I still had money left over, like cash left over. So that's where this came in. So I thought to myself, like, I really wanted, like when I was trying out the when I was trying out. When I was trading in for the 1957, they kept that at the counter. So I played a 1954, which I fell in love with, which I knew I wanted. A 1963, which was the black one, which, oh man, I loved that one. Love this one. I tried a 1968 in white, which I kind of wanted to stay away from the white in that one, which that was fantastic. That 14-degree headstock angle, not that big of a deal. And I tried a 1954 Strat, but it was during that time where I thought, okay, well, I definitely want the 1968. I definitely want the 1954. So when I went and ordered the 1968, and I was like, well, I still have another guitar to get, it automatically dawned on me, why don't you just get the 1963 Les Paul Custom? That way you have 3 different Les Paul Customs, and you love Maestro Vibrolas, and you really do enjoy SGs. So that's kind of how this came together. And like I said, for those of you out there who've put in comments of, what does your wife think? My wife is awesome. If you ask the other guy on the channel here, he's just like, you really hit the jackpot with her. And yeah, it's like when we started dating and stuff like that, I was way more happy to take pictures of her with my guitars, like this, like this, like this, like this, than I was with having pictures of me playing my guitars, which I do really wish I had a picture of me playing my double neck, because it's just kind of weird. I don't have one. But yeah, a lot of people have asked, what does your wife think? And she's always been supportive of that, of me playing guitars. She doesn't. She's not one to. I make weird faces when I play guitar. Okay, so she's not one to go like, okay, he's playing guitar, I should go down and watch, but with a change of pants, right? No, it's she's like, okay, well, the guitar stuff kind of annoying, but that's what he's all about. So she was, yes, involved in the all of the purchases here that I made, and made sure she was aware that I was making those purchases, and I didn't pull the trick that I used to of like, let her pick the color, because that worked in like 2007. But now it's just one of those things where like, okay, well, I really want to get it. This is why I want to get it, and I'm at the point where these guitars are super expensive. I can't, buy them every like week or every payday or anything like that. So she's just awesome. So that's it for my story. There are a couple of things here, because initially when I thought about getting this, like a little while ago, I said to myself I wouldn't get it. And there's a couple of reasons why I didn't want to get it. Number one, white guitars scare the shit out of me. I don't want to have this touch my other SGs because they have aniline dye in it. I have 3 Les Pauls with aniline dye in it. Aniline dye will go right into white guitars. Like this will start to leach the aniline dye in it. So I'm still scared to put this in it. It has to be in a specific wall hanger instead of like on the floor in the different stands that I have, because I don't want to have this right here red. I still don't know if I gotta scrub my hands when I switch from one guitar to the next. And the other reason I initially didn't want this guitar was because it has Grovers. All of my other guitars have Clousons, and they're all the vintage sizing, and I really like those tuners. It's not like I don't like Grovers or anything like that, but when I associate the reissues, I associate them with the Grovers. And like if you look at the Jimi Hendrix, which is like the 67, I think, his Les Paul Custom, that has waffle backs on it, and I really like waffle backs. So I thought if I did a made to measure, it would either be on the figured special, gosh, I really like that guitar. Or it would be on this guitar here, and I would say, yeah, just make it. I'm all right with the white. I'll figure things out, but just make it with the waffle backs. And this is more historically accurate. I mean, they did use those other tuners, but this was like if you went to buy a 1961 Les Paul Custom, or a 62, or a 63, you would see Grovers in it. So, I mean, it is more historically accurate. And even at that point, like, would I be looking at it to go like, okay, well, I got that guitar, and it's just not historically accurate. The nerd in me would go like, maybe you should have just got the regular version with the Grovers. But, yeah, those are the kind of the two things with this guitar, which in the past kind of prevented me from getting it. But now that I have it, and it's properly set up, because, whoa, the store setup was pretty bad, it's fantastic. I don't like it as much as my 57. There's playing in this video now. But I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to start doing some comparisons with my other SGs to see, you know, kind of where it stands, at least for me, in relation to those other guitars. Is this my favorite SG that I own? Or is that the 64? Or is it the 63 Special? Or, well, it's not the 61, because I know I like the Maestro version more than the 61, but that guitar is still absolutely magical. So, on the magic meter for me, that's something that I'm still going to have to figure out. So thank you very much if you've watched this whole video. If you have, you know, leave in the comments, whoa, those cracks are deep. Something like that. Yeah, because, like, this video here is probably just more for me in a couple of years than for other people out there, because I always think when I talk in videos, no one wants to hear that, because I hate editing it, and it's going to be just way too long. So, thanks for watching.